Hi, Peter Boolkah here, and welcome to today's edition of the Transition Guide. Now, joining me today in the studio is Jane J, founder of Ace of Spades PR agency. Jay, so good to have you here today.
Good morning. Good morning. Buenos dias. What's going on, Pete? You know, get coming to you nice with the sunlight on my face in Miami. You know, someone said to me this morning, "You look like a Miami kind of guy." I said, "Just sign the check. All right, just pay the bill."
Yeah, and you look in the UK, and you just look like a UK kind of guy.
Yeah,
Just
dude. I'm
washed out.
I'm whatever people need me to be. You know, where are you from? Where do I need you to be so I can get your attention? Well, Australia. Then we're Australian today. London, we're London today.
And today you're Miami. Great.
Yes, sir.
So here's an interesting question for you, because over the last I'll say over the last 5 to 10 years, there's been this obsession with creating an online presence. And I think those that got on really early in the process got away with having some presence in an uncrowded space. And no matter how awful the content was, they got traction. But you look over the last, or especially last 5 years, these online channels, they become so damn congested. And people are finding it harder and harder and harder to be seen. Why do you think that is?
Well, because it's noisy. It's super noisy. You know, like I remember when I did YouTube 10 years ago in 2009, right? That was the only video platform that was popping. That was like where you would go. Like there were other sites, but you would like go to YouTube. So because I was the earlier adapter in the entertainment space, and we used some good keywords, and you know, I was doing 3 videos a week with good content, you became number one. So now you've got all these platforms and everything is video driven. You know, every app, if they don't have video except for maybe Clubhouse, right, which was a specific need or want or reason, you know, you're losing. So it's challenging, you know, and now the barrier to entry, in a good way and a bad way, is so easy to create content, you know, so it gives a lot of new people, content creators, the chance to share themselves. But that also means there's a lot of people that aren't very good, you know, that are just putting out crap, filler. So you're trying to like swim through all the bad stuff to find the good stuff, you know?
And a lot of people will say, but I am putting out there good stuff. But even the good stuff I'm putting out there isn't getting visibility.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like, even for someone like myself with a profile, I'm big on understanding the power of like going back to old school, like consistency is powerful, but like long-term longevity is powerful. I did 3 videos a week for 3 years straight in YouTube in 2009 on that platform with no noise, but until I got traction. So just think about that for 2 seconds. Now people want to be like, I did 14 days of content. It didn't work. I'm like, come back to me in 42 weeks.
And you actually did that for how long? 3 videos a week? 2 years?
No. So I did 3 videos a week. I did over 800 videos. So it was about 2 to 3 videos a week for about 10 years. But it took me 2.5 to 3 years to get actually like the spike of traction.
And that was back in the day.
That was 2009, 2012.
When there wasn't that much noise.
No, there was, you didn't really, the whole video platform thing was new, you know? And I was also in a space that was like pretty unique, magic and entertainment. So it just, that sort of gives perspective on like, if it took me that long back then, how long is it going to take now? Now, however, to give some optimism to this though, it is a lot easier to get quicker traction though. So like now people are like, wow, I've been putting content up for 6 months and someone saw it, reshared it, you know, reshared my cupcake videos that got picked up by Good Morning America. I got the book deal, you know, and that's the space I play in personal branding. So like people forget, like, yes, it may take longer, but all it could take is, because there's so much sharing. And if it's good content, someone sees it on Reddit, they share it, they share it with the producer and a forward in an email. She's like, I like this person. We actually have a cupcake segment coming up. Reach out to her. She goes on the show. 4 months later, she's a superstar.
So people that have tuned into today's episode, look, the reality is that most people that go onto online, they're creating content for a purpose, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
either they want to get themselves to be that famous. So some people chase fame. Other people may just go out there and say, I want more business.
Yeah,
Those that are not getting the traction they need, where do they need to start? Where do they need to where would be some good fundamental basics they need to consider when reevaluating their strategy that they believe isn't quite working for them?
Well, yeah, well, as we said before, it's a great question. Before we even started the call was, what is the reason why you're doing this? You know, without going too much into like the whole why analogy, but like there is a difference between wanting, do you want likes? Do you want fame? Do you want validation? Do you want cash flow? Do you want clients? Like you have to be really dial in and be honest with yourself too. You know, we work with a lot of people around the world, and, you know, when they come to me and wanting to get online, build a personal brand, the first thing I say, like, why is this important to you? And then why do you want to do this? And once I dig, then we come up with the strategy. Because man, like we could, you know, we could get you famous pretty quick now. We could do a couple of things, you know, we could shoot some videos, we could get you, you know, seen. Or if you're wanting high ticket clients, like if you want people to give you 10, 50, 100 grand a contract, well, then that's a different strategy, you know? So what I would do now, if I was like helping a new client, I would probably use this. I'd create content, but create the content on a platform or place where all your people are going to be. Facebook groups is something that people forget about a lot. You go to like Facebook, they spend a lot of money and time on the groups. That's their number one. I know the Facebook team, like, you know, obviously with our business, they're, other than like ads, brands, they put all their energy to Facebook groups. Why? Because they want everybody on the app, longer time on the app or longer time on Facebook, more engagement time. They use that data to sell to brands. So they put a lot of time on making that as best as possible. So I would create content to the group that already are into the same thing, that probably have the pain or problem, and get to know the host. Man, those people are probably going to buy from you, rather than just doing TikToks and hoping to get a client out of it. But Pete, like, let me be real though. The problem is this: a lot of people in life have never felt the feeling of fame. And fame is it's a scary drug. I've had it for a long time in the entertainment space, but it was gradual. And I've had it since I was 15. So it doesn't give me the dopamine spike it used to, right? 15, 16, 22. Yeah, I was cool. I felt like, yeah, cool, I got likes. Now it doesn't do anything for me. But I've seen people in my office, I've seen people, you know, around the town, they get 45,000 views on a TikTok. They're not coming through with like, wow, I really helped someone. I got 45,000 views. That can be dangerous. You could actually lose, you know?
And I think that's the danger, that people go on there and it's like, well, people see it maybe as a quick fix, as, okay, this is, if we do this and we get good on social and we do stupid shit on social, I'll become famous and I'm going to make a lot of money. But the reality is very few people make a substantial amount of money on social.
Yeah, well, you know, I think you're right. You know, to give context behind that, I would say there are a lot of people that make a lot of money with social. I think a lot of people though do things to try get famous or to try do that, and there's no plan.
Yeah.
You know, there's no strategy, and they've seen someone else do it. I could do a couple of videos, you know, because that's marketing, right? I did 3 videos. I did 3 videos on TikTok. I made 100 grand. Oh, I could do 3 videos. Well, hang on a second. Let's just get an understanding. Let's not buy into the hype, you know.
So here's a nut. So, okay, we've been talking about getting out videos, creating content, and that requires normally you as an entrepreneur or whoever to get behind the camera. However, there's this big reticence out there where I don't want it to be me. I want it to be my business. And therefore they choose company branding over personal branding. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm a big believer of like, people aren't buying the product, they're buying you.
Okay,
you know, we don't buy.
Go on.
Yeah. We don't buy from a robot. We buy from a human, you know? Now I know there'll be people listening. Go, well, when I go on Amazon, I don't buy from Jeff. I don't buy from Jeff Bezos. I buy toilet paper. Yeah, I get that, right? But when it comes to something that's really a pain or a problem, right? You're really buying from the person behind it, right? You want to get to know the person. You want to get to know what they stand for, what they believe, you know, when I connect with them. And I've seen it firsthand multiple times, how I give money, right? Look at something, Peter, that you bought. Have you ever given someone money to someone that you didn't really care about the landing page, like the product? I mean, I like the guy. I connect with him, you know?
I would definitely say that's true for services.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm
In the
looking to
service
engage
business.
for a services business,
Right.
then
right.
yeah, I want to know who I'm dealing with and I want a relationship with that person.
Yes.
And I suppose I look at what they put out there, the language that they use, and for me, it establishes a rapport, allows me to understand the person, and in some respects, it builds that trust. So yeah, absolutely. In services, I think it's key.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and even with products too, and thanks for bringing that up, because yeah, look, I've always been in the service business, from being an entertainer to running a nightclub to running a PR agency. It's service based. I like people, right? But even with the product now too, with company branding, people want to get to know the story. You know, okay, cool. So I'm going to buy this soap. Where was the soap made? Like, is it, you know, obviously, you know, I was going to say gluten free. Probably it's gluten free, vegan free, gluten free, you know, land free, whatever the freeze you got to use. But, you know, what does it stand for? You'll notice on a lot of new companies, like who the founder is, why it started, because it's storytelling. You know, you want to buy into the story. You want to feel like when you're using this soap, I'm putting something on my body that the owner actually like spent time and he cares.
Yeah, and I'm glad you've cleared that up, because I've had so many interesting conversations with people where they're so adamant that they're just going to push the company. They don't want to get on camera, or they don't want to put stuff out there, and that relationship is never formed. And the result of it is that they never get traction.
Well, yeah, and you know, this is interesting. I just thought of this when you were speaking. Let me answer this question for me. Who is someone that runs an airline company that comes to mind straight away?
Richard Branson. We used to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But Richard Branson, right? You don't know the owner of American Airlines. You don't know the owner of Qatar. Like, you don't know the owner of Qantas, right? It's Richard, you know, he's leveraged the Virgin Airlines, but he's done different things. Absolutely. And like, I would love to know the fact, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but like, I'm sure that Richard makes so much more impact and income, right, than American Airlines CEO owner, than those guys, because people know him, they trust him, they like him. So anything he touches, Virgin Records, Virgin Trains, Virgin Money, like it's Richard. Yeah, of course, give him another 100 mil. Like that's power, man.
We've seen that with Elon Musk.
Dude, Elon is killing it. Like Elon is just the coolest, I don't give up kind of guy in the game. And you know, now he, you know, invested, you know, obviously got into Twitter. Just ultimate, well done. Like that's the kind of guy I respect. He's put in the hours, he's made money, he's making an impact. He's sort of like DeSantis, like the guy that runs Miami. He's loved. No one's got anything bad to say about him.
And you know what the interesting thing is? He has to his name $3 billion corporations.
Wow.
So you look at Solar City, you look at SpaceX, you look at Tesla, the man is smashing it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and he's put, you know, he's done the runs on the board, you know, to do that, but also like he stands for something. Once again, he stands for something.
So, and he's got better over the years. You can see that he's had the training. He knows how to create content. He knows how to communicate with the...
It's probably sell a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Just because...
I think it's just cut out for a second, but you're back.
Yeah, no worries. We're still good.
Yeah, it's the power of technology. Sometimes it works really well. Sometimes you have your hiccups, but that's the way it goes, audience. But yeah, with Elon Musk, he's
Yeah.
just been absolutely epic. So Jay,
Yeah.
do you think that people that want to have an online presence, do you think it's a smart thing to do is to get some training on how to create content, as opposed to just go out there and think that you can create content? Because you've been in the entertainment industry for decades.
Yeah.
Surely you've learned how to do this stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, I'll bring it back to me personally. The biggest mistake I think I made for so long was trying to do it all myself, thinking I know, you know, and that's probably my hardest thing that I always have to, like, I always go back to, like, I'll do it myself. Like, that's a hard muscle that's something I'm constantly dealing with. Like, if I can't do it in a day, or if I can figure it out, I have to learn how to let go and pay someone. I'm big on pay someone more money than most, because I'll get better service and I'll get better quality. I think a lot of people don't treat it like a business, you know, oh, it's just content. This is a business. This is a billion or maybe $1 trillion business, and you're wanting to go into it cold, you know? Isn't it interesting, Pete? I was going to say, Pete, isn't it interesting when you like, now I think about this, like, with all the people I coach, the moment when you question or ask someone a hard question, like, you know, for example, like when I will say to someone, how long have you been doing content for? And they're like, 3 weeks. And I won't even say anything. And I'll let them realize how stupid they are by saying that. You know, same thing. Hey, so you're trying to build your online presence. Cool, man. How's it going? It's tough. Okay. You've been in it for like 6 months. Okay. And I'll pause. If he doesn't get it, I'll be like, so, like, who are you paying to get advisory on? Like, who's helping you? I'm doing it myself.
Yeah, it's the blind leading the blind. And actually, you hit the nail on the head when you said most people don't treat it like a business.
Dude, we you know, I know the entrepreneur life, it's like, you know, let's run it all ourselves, but, you know, it's and that's why I like having these conversations, because it reminds me, like, I'm already thinking of stuff like, okay, I need to get that sorted. You know, I'm trying to manage it myself. Like, you know.
You know, it's interesting. And I suppose it's how you approach it and how you appreciate good advice, because we don't know anything. Actually, to be honest with you, when I first became interested in sort of broadcasting on social, creating content, yeah, I was a subject matter expert at what I did, but I knew zip about content.
Right.
I knew zip about how to get the content out there, how to get it distributed. And I was fortunate enough that I had the wisdom to not learn it myself and try to be the expert, but find great people to advise me. And actually, those people do change over time, because as the platforms evolve, the expert of today may not be the expert of tomorrow. So we have to continuously evolve.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like, if people are going, okay, now it makes sense, I need to go get some help. Biggest rule I can tell people about going to get help: look at someone you connect with, and look at they're doing it now. Like, I know that there are, like, old school methods and rules and things that, you know, work in the 90s or early 2000s, but, like, I want to work with someone that's doing it today. And if I can see it every day with them, like, I know what, you know, they're selling what they're doing. You know, I'm big on that. How can I sell a verification tick on Instagram? How can I sell Forbes? How can I sell getting on TV if I haven't done it? Or if I haven't got a track record of everybody else doing it, you know? And like, so many people are quick to give people money. Like, dude, what has he done? Show me. I'm in people's corner, but, like, I tell people all the time, like, when people try to pitch me, I'm I'm Australian, man. Maybe it's just I'm voicey. I'm like, listen, thank you for reaching out. You know, like, I appreciate people that reach out, because that's what I'm like. But I'm like, hey, man, listen, I'll give you another shot, because I don't trust you. And people are shocked when I said it. I'm like, look at your online presence. I Google you, nothing comes up. There's no testimonials in your Instagram, right? Like, you got 4 photos. Like, dude, fix it and come back to me. Like, no one's ever said these to these people. What do we say? We're nice, not interested, no thank you. No, we could be interested. You just made it hard for us to trust you. And we make it an instant impression, like instant, like, no, yes.
Yeah,
Like,
you know,
yeah.
And very often that's like the plumber with leaky taps. They could be an excellent plumber, but if their own kitchen's leaking, how much confidence do you have in that person?
Yeah, man. People forget. Like, I know that people think, like, we overthink it sometimes of like, oh, maybe it's my product, maybe it's my service. No, dude, they don't trust you. They don't think you're the right guy for the job. They see something. That's why messaging is really important online. You know, especially with, you know, a lot of women listening as well. Like, I've helped coach a lot of women, and the first thing we do is clean up their social. I know you want to show off the cool photos of you, the sexy photos. I get it, right? You should be proud of who you are. But at the end of the day, when you're trying to push a service and the messaging is off and someone's like, no, that is, you're done. Like, you know, it's harder to, like, they stand back.
Yeah.
You want to get them to lean in, not lean back. I'd rather go with that person because at least I trust her.
And that's the thing, it's about making sure you don't send mixed messages and you don't confuse people and you don't break the trust before it's even had the chance to be made.
Yeah, and to give a tactic on that to help everybody for free that doesn't cost you any money. If everybody usually goes out and grabs a coffee or lunch every day, this is what I used to do. I'd go to Starbucks and I'd show the girl behind the counter, hey, what does this photo say? What does my profile look like? I would get instant focus group feedback. They love it. They're bored. Hey, I just want your honesty. Be honest with me, please, Sarah. Look at look at this or look at the website. What does this mean? What does this say? She's like, it doesn't. What do you do? Do you do this? Oh, okay. That's a normal person with no emotion, reason for her to lie. I'm getting great feedback. Thank you for sharing that. Now I go fix it. It's like, I'm always asking people, what do they think? What do they feel? You know, like does this make sense to you? Because they're the audience that they're not the audience that maybe I'm trying to like win over, but they're the honest audience. They're not going to lie to you. Why would they lie?
So you help people with all this stuff. If the listeners today are interested and they really think, okay, do you know what? I need help with this. Jay's the dude that could potentially help me.
Yeah.
How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's simple. If something I've said, Pete, that's resonated with people, if they're like, listen, I'm putting a lot of stuff out, I'm not getting traction, or I want to be the go-to, or, you know, I just have no clue on what to do online. Like, I'm making money, you know, my business is good, but I know I'm losing out by not being present. You know, we can have a strategy call. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. You know, it's just let me learn about your business and where you're going. So aceofspadesagency.com, aceofspadesagency.com. And, you know, look at my work, you know, stalk me a little bit, make sure I'm the right fit for you. And then once you book in the call, like, you know, do it if you're serious, man. I do this 3C thing. You can use this, Pete. So I need people to have the 3 C's before working with me. One, they need to be committed, right? I ain't going to commit to if you're not going to commit, right? 2, you need to be coachable. Like, don't come to me and want to do it your way. That's happened to me multiple times. And the final thing, Pete, the London subway takes cash. I take cash. So until we can do fist bumps to get on the train, until we can do fist bumps to hang out at the hotel and have the $19 coffee in, you know, in London, is it that much these days? We need cash. So committed, coachable, and cash. If you're ready to invest and you're serious about it, dude, I'll help you.
Brilliant. Now, if anything we spoke about today resonates with you, you want a bit more information, head over to boolkah.com and get in touch. Jay, you've been an awesome guest. Thank you so much. It's been epic. And remember, everyone, failing to learn is learning to fail. Please stay safe. And that's a great example where you've got to learn how to become great at social.